I'm joined by one of my brothers in Islam, Brother Yusuf Burke. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
And very nice to meet you, and I thank you for sitting and agreeing to talk with us.
My pleasure.
Brother Yusuf, just tell us a bit about yourself and your background and how you came to Islam.
Well, I was raised in New York in the Albany area. Raised as Catholic for my whole life and went to Catholic schools all the way even through university. And I went, my father used to travel to the Middle East a little bit, so he had some Muslim friends and understood a little about Islam and Muslims from him. We had some of them over at our house a few times, so that was interesting to see the cultural differences as well as the religious differences. I studied a little bit in college when I was doing a comparative religion class and understood the basics of Islam. But really didn't understand much until I really traveled and lived in Indonesia. That was my first sort of predominantly Muslim country that I went and lived in, and really, a lot of.
How did you? Excuse me if I can ask. How did you come to travel to Indonesia? And before you got to that point to travel, I mean, did you go to university? Did you study there? And was the job related to your?
Yeah, I studied as an engineer, and about 2 years after I got out of school, I joined General Electric, GE Energy. And I was a field engineer, and I traveled overseas to work on power projects, so building power plants, basically.
Right.
So the first Muslim country I went to was Indonesia back in 1994, and really enjoyed meeting the people there. Wonderful people, very friendly and very open and willing to really wanting to engage in conversation with you just because you're different. And just started to learn about Islam then, and I converted to Islam in 1996, and then married my wife shortly after there, and we traveled around a little more and settled down here about in 2002, after living in Malaysia and Singapore and Australia and Thailand a little bit too. So.
All right, and now when you had become Muslim, I mean, how did your family react to the news that you, I mean, I just want to ask you, I mean, when you studied in Catholic schools, in Catholic university, okay, did you feel you had a good understanding of Catholicism?
I think, yeah, I did have a good understanding of Catholicism. I think what really brought me to Islam is it's very logical, and as an engineer, I appreciated that. And really felt as I discussed about and really lived among Muslims, I really felt the brotherhood that they share, and that really drew me to it as well. And just the logic overwhelmed me, and that's where I became Muslim. And as I learned about more when I went to Australia and then Malaysia, I took classes and learned from some people, and just the way they presented it to me was just really struck me as this is the right way.
And I think I was asking you, how did your family react when you became Muslim?
Yeah, I think they were a little surprised, obviously, but I think they understood that that was my decision, and they're very open-minded, and I think they have a good respect for all people, first of all, but also religions, especially monotheistic religions. So I think they saw it as I think they saw me worshiping in the way I really wanted to, and they appreciated that.
So I mean, it wasn't any fallout. They just accepted your decision.
Yeah, they accepted it. I think I need to explain a little bit to them why, and maybe sort of dispel some of the misconceptions that we have here in the United States. But I think once they saw that I was really committed to it, they really support it. And like I said, my mother buys halal meat whenever I go home, so that's wonderful.
MashaAllah. And when you go home, where?
To New York.
To New York.
Yeah.
Okay. So tell us about the organizations, Islamic organizations, which you're involved here.
Yeah, I'm the president of the local chapter of the Council on American Islamic Relations, and we're an advocacy group for American Muslims, basically trying to dispel some of the misconceptions as well as help Americans in terms of any kind of civil liberties or civil rights issues, and just trying to bring Muslims to have a better, bring them to the seat at the table, I guess, in American society. Also trying to introduce them properly to the larger community. I think a lot of times they don't understand sort of the Islamic perception of things, or the how Muslims relate to different topics and issues at hand in America, and that's what we're trying to bring that taste of Islam to America. Yeah. So some of the things we're doing is, first of all, civil liberties or civil rights issues are the forefront of what we do. Any Muslims who are discriminated against because they're Muslim, whether it be in the workplace or with a government agency, we try to step in and help them. So we're working on several cases right now in terms
Can you
of
just, I mean, without
discrimination.
going into too much detail, can you just give me an example of the nature of some of the cases you're handling
The
now?
one thing that's great about living in America is that the laws are on the side of freedom of religion and accommodation for religious practices, especially in the workplace. So, but a lot of times the employers don't understand this, and just making them understand what the practices are and what accommodation, like prayers or hijab or beards for men, in terms of that, just making sure they understand that and that it's allowed on the workplace. Prayer breaks in terms of having.
So you mean there are actual people who have troubles like this in the workplace, but maybe somebody's manager won't allow them to pray, or won't
Right.
allow them to have a beard, or
Exactly.
or ladies, they won't
Yeah,
allow
they
them to
won't
wear
allow
their
them to have a
headscarf.
job. They say it's against the uniform policy. But basically the laws are on our side, and we try to reinforce that with the employer. We try to educate them, basically. That's really what
First of
we
all,
try to
I
do.
don't know how anybody would have hijab in their uniform policy. You know?
Well, they say basically no head covering
Uh-huh.
in their uniform policy, like baseball caps or something like that. But if it's religiously mandated, like a yarmulke